Hey guys, Sak here from SAKITECH, and in today's video I will share over 50 plus tips, tricks, and features to fully customize your Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. Now you paid a lot of money for your phone, so I want to make sure you get maximum satisfaction out of your ownership of this fantastic smartphone. And of course, if you are thinking about buying this phone, this is the perfect video to watch to get acquainted with all the features of the Z Fold 3. So let's dive in and get started right away. Alright, so the very first thing that you want to do is you want to go into your settings, alright, and then you want to go all the way down and go into About Phone, and you want to make sure that you customize the name of your smartphone by clicking Edit right here. So once you do that, you are able to give your phone a unique name and make it truly yours. So in my case, it's now known as Saki Fold 3. And also when I share this phone on Bluetooth networks, Wi-Fi networks, or with my friends, this is the name they're going to be able to see and easily identify the phone. So that's the first step, to name your phone and make it yours. The second thing that you want to set up is you want to enable double tap to sleep and double tap to wake. So when I double tap on the screen, it puts the phone to sleep. If I double tap, it wakes up the phone. So make sure this feature is enabled. It's going to be a lifesaver. It just makes things easy. And what you want to do to enable this is you want to go into your settings, and then you want to go into your advanced features, and then you want to go over to motions and gestures and make sure double tap to turn on screen and double tap to turn off screen is in fact enabled. For example, if I have this disabled, I can't double tap to turn off the phone. Alright, so make sure that's enabled. Let's move on. Now the next feature I'm going to talk about has to do with your wallpaper. Now this is very important because when you pinch the screen and when you go into wallpapers, and let's say you go to My Wallpapers and you pick a brand new wallpaper. So let's tap on this one and say Lock and Home Screens. What's going to happen is when you change the wallpaper while you are in the inner display, that wallpaper only applies to the inner display. So you can have a separate wallpaper for the cover screen. So here we have the outer display, and if I pinch the screen and if I tap on wallpapers, again, if I go into My Wallpapers and if I change the wallpaper here, it's going to be a separate wallpaper, okay? So right now I have two different wallpapers on the inside and outside. Great customization. Now one more thing you want to quickly enable, if you pinch the screen and if you go to the settings, on the top we have something known as the cover screen mirroring. So if you want two separate experiences on two separate displays, the inner display and the outer display, you want to have this off, because if you do off, you can have two different home screen setups. So this home screen is going to have a different layout than the outer home screen, including different wallpapers, as I showed you earlier. But if you turn it on, everything over here is going to be mirrored to the cover screen display. So if you don't want that, make sure you pinch the screen, go to settings, and turn this off. If you want total uniformity, boom, you're on, you're good to go. Now one thing that's important, if you go to your settings, all right, and if you go into your display, what you can do is you can tap on this thing right here, screen layout and zoom. And by default, it's multi-view, which is this split screen view, half and half. Standard view is going to expand everything. I don't like this, okay? So even if I go to messages now, it's going to be fully expanded. I like it better on the large screen to have the multi-view. This only applies to the inner display. The outer display is always a single line. With this one, you have the multi-display stuff, as you can see. Fantastic. Another important little feature, if I go to my settings over here, now this phone comes with 120 Hertz display refresh rate, and it's on both screens, so you get super smooth scrolling on both. So if I go to display and if I go to motion smoothness, I can either have adaptive 120 or standard 60 Hertz. This will save me some battery life. If you want to extend your battery life, you can choose this option. If you want smooth scrolling and animations, you want to pick this one. And I'll let you know, when you go to standard and you click apply, it actually makes the modification to both screens. Okay, so this is going to control both the cover display and the inner display. I recommend just sticking to the motion smoothness adaptive for maximum smooth scrolling. The next thing that's very important is going to be these buttons at the bottom. So by default, these might be on this side or this side for the inner display. So what you want to do is you want to go to your settings, all right? And then you want to go to your display. And there's a couple options here at the bottom. When you go to navigation bar, you can have the button position on the left, as you can see. You can have it on the right. This is the default when you first set up the phone. Or you can have it at center. That's the way I like it. Now let's say you don't want the buttons at all. You want full immersion. You can go to the swipe gestures. So the buttons will disappear and you are going to be able to use these motion gestures, these swipe gestures to bring up stuff and stuff like that. So I prefer to have buttons, but you have the option to go from swipe to buttons. It's all going to be up to you. When you do go to swipe gestures, you do have additional options to customize what's happening here. For example, look at this line here at the bottom, okay? Let's say you don't want that line. You can disable that line and it's going to disappear. So now you have a true full screen experience. So that's great, but like I said, I'm going to stick to buttons. That's the way I like it. And when you do make modifications on this screen, it applies to both screens. The next thing that's also very important that you want to quickly set up is, let's go to my messages over here. Let's just say I'm going to tap a new message. So you can see that we have a keyboard that pops up in a split screen design. Alrighty. Now some people don't like that. So what you can do is you have a couple options. On the top, you are going to see a mini keyboard icon. So you can actually tap on this and combine it and make it a full screen keyboard. You can tap it again, make it split, or you can tap this guy and turn it into a little floating keyboard that you can move around. As you can see, you can have it anywhere that you want. All right, it's a large display. You have a lot of real estate. You do what you want. So I like it this way. And also, if you don't see these options here, you can tap on settings, scroll down, go into mode, alrighty, and just want to let you know, you can have separate keyboards for separate screens. So right now, main screen has a standard keyboard. The cover screen in portrait or landscape has a standard keyboard and a split. I'm just going to keep it standard everywhere. That's the way I like it. Alrighty. So I'm going to go back over here. Now we have a standard keyboard. That's the standard. That's the split. And that's the floating. Alright. Just so you know. Let's move on. Now next up, I'm going to describe a feature that is very unique to the Fold 3. Even the Fold 2 and the Fold 1 doesn't have it yet. And it's going to be a little involved. So it has to do with the edge screen. So you might see this enabled on your phone by default. When you pull it in, you are going to see a bunch of applications right here. Now these are basically quick access applications. You can edit these. So first, I want you guys to go to your settings. All right, go to display, and here's the main setting, the edge panels. That thing is known as the edge panel right here. Okay, if I turn this off, it disappears. If I click it, it shows up. So if I go into my panels, I can have multiple panels added. For now, I'm going to stick to single panel because this panel itself has a special feature that I want to talk about. The first thing you want to do is you want to tap on edit, all right? And make sure, remove the applications and then add applications that you want to actually use, all right? So that's quick shortcut. So I can add as many as I want. Let me just give you some examples here. So you can see I can add as many as I want. So once I do that, once you have all the apps that you want, when you pull this in, now you have access to all your quick apps that you want to access right away. There is a button here you can tap, and that button is going to give you a very special option known as the pin option. But you're not going to see this here by default. You have to enable it. When you tap on pin, I'm going to show you how to enable it, by the way. When you tap on pin, it is going to dock the apps right here, and you can scroll through them. This will always be here, almost like a computer dock, like a Mac or a Windows, and you can scroll through all the applications. And you can also remove it at will by tapping the pin button. All right, so now it's unpinned. So how do you enable this pin icon? What you have to do is you have to go to your settings, you have to go to advanced features, and then you have to go into the labs feature. Once you're at the labs feature, at the bottom, you're going to say pin your favorite apps. You're going to enable this. If you disable this, you're not going to see the pin option, which is the default. If you enable it, you are going to see the pin option, and you are able to pin that thing, the dock, on the side with all the applications you want over here. Very nice little tactic, okay? So for now, I'm going to unpin it, but that's an option that's unique to the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, at least for now. You can also click on this, go inside to see more details, alrighty? But remember, the big thing is, go to the settings, go to display, go into edge panels, and when you are in your panels, make sure you tap on edit to customize the apps you want to see on the panel for quick access. And then if you want extra apps, that's fine. You can have additional applications, as you can see. So now when I go like this, I can swipe over. I also have a tools application. So you can customize the edge panels any way that you want. Now when you have multiple edge panels, now I have multiple edge panels. So what's going to happen if I pin this guy? Let me show it to you. So let's pin this guy to the side. Now it's pinned my quick apps, but if I want to access my other edge panels, I click this button here, and that's going to bring all my other edge panels. But if I go back, this dock comes right back. Very well implemented. And while we are on the topic of the edge panels, this thing here is known as the edge handle. You can customize this as well. First and foremost, you can grab this and you can put it anywhere you want on the screen, or even on the other side. But to make further modifications, you go to display, you go into the edge panels, and what you do is you go to handle. It's known as the edge handle. You can change the color, as you can see, okay? So I can make it less transparent, highly transparent, and I can make it large and small, as you can see. I can change the position to right, boom, right over there, boom, right over here, okay? Just so you know, for maximum customization. The next thing I want to talk about, now because we have a large screen, I'm assuming a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of reading on this display. Kindle, articles, newspapers. So you want to make sure you get minimum eye strain. So go to display and then make sure you enable the eye comfort shield, which is going to make sure the screen gets a little bit warmer so it puts less strain on your eyes. Fantastic, all right? I would just keep this adaptive, but you can go to custom and make a little bit modification. So normally I would not worry about this eye comfort shield, but with this one, probably a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of reading. You don't want to cause eye strain, so make sure you enable eye comfort shield. The next thing I want to talk about is very important. It has to do with your media, multimedia experience. So watching movies and also sound quality. So two things you want to do. First, you go to your settings, then you go into your sounds and vibration, then you go down over here, you go to sound quality and effects. Once you're here, you want to enable Dolby Atmos, all right? This phone has high quality stereo speakers and Dolby sound. So to get the best sound, you want to enable this, and you can pick auto, or if you know you're going to watch a movie, you can just pick it manually. All right, but that's fine. That's number one thing you want to enable. Number two, you go to display. You go to advanced features right here. Then you go down a little bit. And here's something that's very important, again, for watching video. Video brightness. You tap on this one, you choose bright. That's going to make your videos simply more vivid and more bright with the colors popping at you. And you can enable it for every single application that you download, any app that plays videos like YouTube, Netflix, Crunchyroll, Hulu, HBO Max, whatever. So you can disable, enable for whatever you want. So you'll notice when you have this enabled and you're watching a movie, the screen is just going to get more brighter and more vivid. It's going to make your watching experience better. So make sure sound and video is optimized for the best pleasure. Now, one more thing I want to talk about in relation to the home screen. When you have a lot of stuff on the home screen, you want to rearrange stuff. Here's what I like to do. I like to press and hold on apps, and then I tap on select. And I want to let you know you can select a bunch of apps at the same time, then press and hold and move them around as a batch in the same home screen, or press and hold, select, let's select all of them, or you can move them to a separate screen on the side. This is a very easy way to clean up your home screen. Additionally, if I have, let's just grab a couple of these apps, 1, 2, 3, 4. I can quickly create a folder out of a batch of applications and give it a name. Okay, let's just say X for now. And also I can tap this button here, change the color of the folder to anything that I want to further customize it. Let's pick red just as an option. All right, so that's the X folder. And again, look at this. Select, boom, boom, boom. I can grab all these guys, remove it, and the folder disappears. All right, so let me put this back here. So that's great. Very easy to do batch operations, rearrange the home screen like this. Fantastic. Now let's talk about some home screen customization. So first thing that I want you guys to enable is when you pull down on the screen, you want to bring down the notifications panel. Instead of having to go all the way up to pull it down, you can do it anywhere on the screen. So you want to pinch the screen, you want to go into the home screen settings, and you want to enable this option right here. Swipe down for notification panel. If I did not have this enabled, it goes to the app drawer, which is not necessary because, let me just go back here. Let me go back to the settings. Because when I have this enabled, I can still go up to go to app drawer, and then you want to pull down to bring notifications panel. Do it twice and the whole thing is going to come down. That's number one. Number two, again, pinch the screen, tap on settings, screen button on home screen. If I enable this, I have a convenient button right here that I can tap that's going to take me to my app drawer. All right, though, so that's one more thing. Now let's quickly talk about the lock screen and do some customizations. Now anytime you make a modification to the lock screen, it's going to apply to both screens except for the wallpaper. So if I go to my settings, this is what I like to do right away. I like to go to my display and I like to go into my, actually no, I'm sorry. I want to go to my lock screen, and the first thing I do is I tap on contact information and actually put a little signature on my phone. So you can use this to put your contact information. If your phone gets stolen, somebody can see the display and contact you. Nobody really does that. People usually just steal the phone. So what I like to do is when I go to my lock screen, I like to have a little personalized signature. Though it says SAKITECH, you can have a quote, you can have your name, you can have whatever that you want, a nice text field. The other thing I like to do under lock screen, very important, I like to go into my shortcuts over here, and I like to pick two shortcuts. So if I again tap, you can see we have a shortcut here, phone and the camera. So what I do is I go back into that area, I tap on left shortcut, and I do calculator in this case, and then right shortcut, I'll just do the camera, which is already there. Now when I make this modification, it applies to both screens, inside, outside. So look at this. I got the calculator and the camera. I can tap and swipe to activate the calculator from the lock screen. So that's another thing I want to do. And then another very important thing is the widgets. So tap on this guy. I can have a bunch of widgets on my lock screen. Let's enable a couple. Let's disable this. Let's have today's schedule. Okay, so 4 of these guys. Okay, now look at this. Double tap, boom, boom. All right, tap on the clock. It's going to expand and give me 4 widgets that I just set up. I can even tap on settings to go back and modify them. I can even only have 2. All right, so I can have my music control and my weather. That's absolutely fantastic. Again, when you make a modification here, it also applies to the outer display. Another big thing, back in the settings under lock screen, you can always pick a clock style. So when you click on the clock style, you want to go to the lock screen, all right? And from here, you can pick a unique clock for your lock screen and even change the colors, as you can see, all right? Pick any color that you want from here. But let's just stick with blue, click done, boom, boom, look at this. We got a nice clock on the outside. So now the lock screen is customized to my taste. There's a couple other things you can do in here as well. Going back to lock screen, the always on display is something on top of the lock screen. So when I have the phone turned off, if I tap once, it shows me the always on display. But that's the always on display. Right from here, I have the tap to show for 10 seconds enabled. I recommend not doing show always. If you do this, every time you turn off your phone, it's going to pop up and it's going to actually waste your battery. All right. So if you want it, you just keep tap to show. If you don't want it, disable it. Okay. Some people just don't want it. And that's it for the lock screen. Now, one more thing, when you go to your messages, you can see right over here what I have is I have a customized background for that particular conversation with SAKITECH. So you can change the background if you so desire for further customization. When you are in a option here, tap on settings, go into customized chat room, and from here you can pick any color that you want. You can pick a photo from your gallery, and you can change the contrast of the text. You can make it white, you can make it black. It's up to you, all right? So you can apply this to all chat rooms, okay? You pick a color, you can apply it to all chat rooms, or you can do custom. So your girlfriend can have a different color or a photo in the background. Your father can have a different color, your brother, sister, whatever. You can modify it for every single person. But like I said, if you go here, if you tap on apply to all chat rooms, it's going to apply to everybody. But if you just want to keep it custom to each person, don't click apply all, and you're going to be good to go. Now, one more important thing, if you go to your settings, all right, and if you go into your display, over here we have an option known as continue apps on cover screen. If you click on this, you can pick apps one by one. So let's do the calculator, all right? So I have it right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch the calculator application. So let's launch it. Now, when I close the display, this app is going to transfer over to the cover display automatically. All right, so that's what that option is for. So look at that. So I'm gonna bend this over, and it's coming right here. It just transferred over. It did flip. I didn't want that, but you can fix that, no problem. So that's one thing. You continue apps on the cover display from the inner display. And like I said, you can enable this for every application that you want that option to apply to. It does not work by default. You have to actually do it right from here. Now, one thing I'm going to show you guys in relation to the phone application, if I tap on the phone application, if I tap on the settings, and if I go to settings, what you can do is over here we have answering and ending calls. When you click this guy, what you can do is you can use hardware buttons to take calls and end calls. So if I enable these guys, look, it says you can press volume up key to answer a call, and you can press the power key, the side button, to end a call. This works both when it's open like this or when it's closed, which is what it's better at. So you can use hardware keys to take calls and to end calls instead of swiping on the screen. I like that option. Now, some phones may not have this next option, but if you go to your settings and if you go all the way down to device care, at the bottom we have an option that says device protection is turned off. You want to enable this. If you turn this on, what's going to happen is you are going to have antivirus enabled on your phone, which means your phone is going to be scanned when you want it or automatically to make sure you don't have any malware, spyware, or any weird apps on your phone. So not every phone may show this. Some carriers disable this, but most versions should have device protection under battery and device care. Now, while we are here, you go to battery, you have a bunch of options. You got the power savings mode. If you want to save your battery, you enable this. Let's say you're running low on the battery, boom, you're going to start saving battery, okay? So that's the power savings mode that can be further customized by using these options. So go back over here under more battery settings. You also want to make sure you have all these options enabled. Fast charging, fast wireless charging can be disabled. Just make sure it is enabled. And you can also enable this enhanced processing. If you want to go nuts, you want maximum performance, enable enhanced processing. Once you enable this guy, you can also toggle it on and off from the quick toggles on the top. So it should be somewhere in here, right here. So you click it, you put it right there. Now it's active. You can turn this on and off for maximum performance. Even get a little icon on the top that shows enhanced processing. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys learned some new and amazing stuff with your Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. Make sure you're subscribed because more videos are going to be coming very soon to make your experience even more richer with your smartphone. Guys, have a fantastic day.